Hello there and welcome to Monday the 7th of April. So today I'm going to do my pilgrimage up the Tor, and I just want to show you can see the people on the path there. Behind them, that's the first of the portals, and here's the second of the portals right there. So now I'm going to take you and there's two options. You can either go up the well-trod path or you can go up the less well-trod path. So this is the one I'm going to go for. Before I go any further, I want to show you my birthday present. So it's a pair of shoes which operates in a completely different way from all the others I've ever had so far in my life. There's plenty of space for the toes, which is usually not the case. And perhaps even more significant, when it comes to walking, unlike the shoes I've been wearing over the last number of years, these shoes don't attempt to insulate me from the ground. They tend to do the opposite. They give me the sense of being very aware of exactly what I'm walking on. So in a sense, I could call these mindfulness shoes. Very easy to take on and put off. So the first thing about the Glastonbury Tor pilgrimage is it's very easy to get this attitude of wanting to rush up there and to speed along as fast as you can. And the people that do that, you can always tell them, because they're the ones that end up exhausted and out of breath. So what I recommend is doing the opposite. Take your time. Feel each footstep. And if you're fortunate enough to do what I normally do, which is be barefoot or wearing these special birthday shoes, then what you actually get is a really clear sense of every step I'm taking. It really helps. In other words, one of the best ways to appreciate the Glastonbury pilgrimage is to slow right down. Take it slowly. So much better. So this film has got a very specific purpose, and it's to share with you the subject of the end of illusion. We are living now, since the 1st of April, in the end of illusion. All the illusions, all the things that we may have believed or been attached to or held on to for whatever reason, that no longer serve us, that are no longer true for us, that are no longer relevant for us, they are all melting away, rather like snow on the first really warm, mild day. One Sunday the temperature is so warm, all that water can do that's been snow for so long, just melting away, melting into water and gradually soaking into the ground. So that's a very visceral metaphor for us about being in the end of illusion. The last of the illusions are melting away, and what is our truth is becoming much more apparent. Now there's one part of this process that can be painful for people. When some people approach the end of illusions and find themselves in that place, they may discover that people they've been close to for a long time are doing the same things as snow did on the warm day. They're just melting away, and they're somewhere else. They're no longer part of your life. So this is something that is happening to people. Long-standing friendships are just melting away, and suddenly that connection is no more. And obviously the same thing applies in the other direction. There may be people that we felt close to for such a long time, and all of a sudden the impulse to get in touch with them, it simply isn't there anymore. It's not that we dislike the person. It's not that we have any issues. There's just no connection, no impulse, no attraction. Nothing we wish to explore with that person anymore. So my advice is to be very accepting of all this. Whether you're on the receiving end of people melting away out of your life, or whether you're one of the ones that's actually just moving away from them, because whatever magic was there is now gone. This is a big part of the end of illusions. And so what I'm referring to from the astrologer's perspective is Neptune in Aries. So I do apologise to anyone I've spoken to before about this subject, because I got a bit carried away and didn't get my facts as completely right as I would like to have done. Very much the end of my illusions. So it's 168 years that Neptune takes to go all the way around the zodiac. 168 years, right? Now, Neptune went into Pisces, the 12th sign of the zodiac, in the very beginning of April 2011. And it was on the 31st of March that Neptune finally left Pisces and entered into Aries. And Pisces has many meanings and many connotations. It's very spiritual. It's the embodiment of chaos in our existence, particularly from a 3D perspective. And Pisces also includes beliefs, belief systems and illusions. So when we began April with Neptune in Aries, completely different energy. The Neptune in Aries energy says, what is true for me? What am I here to do? Am I doing what I'm here to do? If so, great. If not, why not? Make up my mind, get on with it. Do what it is I'm here to do. No excuses, no prevarications, no fantasies, and most especially, no illusions. So here we are, the month we let go of illusions, and I know for me, it's a big one, and it's a very personal one, which is that I feel what I'm doing is I'm letting go of not being a completely full adult. I feel I've hung on to childhood for much longer than most people do, and it's actually to do with the astrology of fear. If you look into the astrology of fear, you'll discover that the fear with regard to anyone who's Aries, well, I've got Sun, core of my being, Mercury, communication, and Jupiter, my gifts, all in Aries, all in the 6th house, the house of work, service and healing. So what I'm doing is I'm letting go of my childhood illusions, the very last of them. And there are certain habits which I have been very attached to, which I have had a different perspective on. I wasn't able to get this new perspective before because I was very much wrapped up in Neptune in Pisces, which, as I'm saying, is about illusion. So all of a sudden, Neptune in Aries, exactly the same as my Sun, my Mercury and my Jupiter, well, this is it. New energy. And so I found myself only a couple of nights ago on a Saturday evening, had people visiting all day, had a really great time. I was on my own and suddenly it hit me. Yes, there are certain habits I was attached to, and the great thing about attachment is the more attached you are, the more miraculous it is when you let go of those attachments. And this is exactly what's been happening to me. So I'm starting to feel just the beginnings of awareness of becoming more me. And I recognise that one of the reasons I was so attached to some of these habits was because it was a way for me to diminish myself. Because I always felt if I really show myself for who I am, it's going to be too much for people. They won't be able to cope. Well, of course, there's a lot of bollocks. Really, it was me that wasn't able to cope. Often that's like that, isn't it, with life? You look out and project out, oh no, they wouldn't be able to cope with me being myself. It was me who wasn't ready to fully be myself, because I wasn't ready to take full responsibility for me being myself. So, on my pilgrimage up Glastonbury Tor, it's about the end of illusions. That's the first thing. The second thing, it's about dropping the old habits. And so these old habits I dropped, and I will make a separate film about how I did this, because I think it's very useful for people. But the bottom line is, it's got a lot to do with the subconscious mind. So I gave my subconscious new instructions. Having received those new instructions, my subconscious is now my ally, my cooperative helper in the releasing of those old habits. So that feels really great. And then the third thing, end of illusions, number 1. Releasing old habits, number 2. That enables number 3 to become active. Number 3 is, yes, it's the new doors opening. And the new doors opening have been waiting for those old doors to close first. That's the way that it works. So, facing up to and accepting the illusions, big step. Instructing my subconscious to release the old habits, second step, great. Third step, giving myself the time to be in this space in between the old and the new. That's the third. And then the fourth is becoming aware when the new doors open and celebrating and thanking the new doors for opening. That is such a gift. And one of the things that has been my great ally and assistance through all of this is partway through my most recent visit to India. So it would have been late February, early March when it happened. Late February actually. I was given a new series of meditation protocols. And they complement perfectly what I'm doing with the mantras, what I'm doing with the prayers, which are all thank you prayers, gratitude prayers. And they also complement certain other practices I've been engaging in. So it feels really great to realise that one of the greatest powers is the attitude of gratitude. That can be number 5 and number 0 at the same time. Being grateful for all. And I will just stop because as I walked along then I suddenly detected an odour. It's a very powerful odour which I normally would not have been aware of because of a couple of old habits. And I could smell, and I can still slightly smell, the odour of a fox's trail. So a fox has actually crossed my path. So that's beautiful. And indeed, any shamans watching this, you could tune into the fox. What does fox... Oh, there's another one. Yeah. What is fox medicine all about? Of course, we have Aesop's fables to help us, but what is fox energy all about? Something worth looking at. So the other thing about the Glastonbury Tor pilgrimage, I don't normally do it like this. I normally do it in complete silence. That's my preference. But I just want to share with you these experiences this morning, which is why I have been speaking. So, underneath my feet, there are 2 springs, the red spring and the white spring. The red spring is in a deposit of irony rock, and the white spring is in a deposit of limestone rock, and those two springs go to the white spring and the Chalice Well spring, which is a red spring. So I'm aware of that. I'm also aware of the spirit of the Tor. There's a spirit that is the guardian of this very sacred holy place. Yes, this is the heart centre of the world. That's what Glastonbury Tor is. And the intersecting ley lines, which are energy lines, like the meridians of the human body, the meridians of the earth, they intersect in exactly the centre of that tower. That tower was once part of a church, and all that's left of the church is the tower. And somehow that feels incredibly appropriate. So we are being blessed with our beautiful, sunny, warm weather. I say warm, it's about 9 degrees, maybe even 10 now. But it feels warm to me now that I'm habituated to my climate in this country. And suddenly the first little blast of wind I can feel. And I do have great pleasure in initiating people who come here for their retreats. I invite them to stand in the very centre point and actually experience all of the many ley lines that intersect at that point. This is something that people do when they come to stay with me, to have a few days with Shaman's Guest House, experiencing Glastonbury, going out and doing things. People do their shamanic training, they get initiated in that spot, and they get their fire initiation, which is a very powerful thing to do in that spot. So here we are, just a few steps away from the summit, and the wind has really picked up. So here's the sun. And because it's April, just about every trace of the flooding which forms this into the Isle of Avalon has now gone, and it's back to fields. I can see some of the fields have got patches of a different colour. They obviously were one of the most recent ones to have the floods go down, and that large village, small town straight ahead, that street, if I move over here, that's Glastonbury. So one of the traditional things we do is we do circuits. So this is a form of banishing ritual. I didn't expect to be sharing this with you, but you know how it is with me. If I receive an instruction, I simply follow it. So one of the very simplest banishing rituals is to walk around the Tor anti-clockwise for 3 complete revolutions. All this is a great opportunity to celebrate being alive and feel grateful for having our life here in the physical realms. And that's as far as I'm going to go with you today. I'm going to continue the banishing on my own now. All the love to you.